It is Dynamite Dan Ige, who's got a UFC fight coming up, but we'll talk about that in a second. I got to ask, I mean, Dynamite Dad, too, right? 2 years old. I see your kid out here skateboarding on Instagram. I mean, how cool is that, man?
Man, it's awesome. You know, like from for as long as I can remember, I've always loved skateboarding and surfing and any type of sports like that. So just being able to introduce those kind of sports to Bam, and he's doing that. He's in gymnastics now. I mean, he even likes wrestling. I don't want to like push him into fighting or anything, but he just seems to be like an athletic kid. We actually he got tested, and he's 2 years old, but they tested his motor skills, and they put him in the category of like a 49-month-year-old.
Wow.
So he's pretty advanced as far as his movement skills and his athleticism. So I don't know. Maybe we got a future star and something. We'll see.
I love it. I love it. Gymnastics is awesome. I wanted to get my kid involved in gymnastics. I never pulled the trigger on it. He's 11 now, probably a little too late. But man, honestly, for children, I think gymnastics is a really good base, right? Just the core movements, the body strength, the flexibility, everything. I think that's not a bad place to start.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's so good for their just their body awareness alone. And you know, my wife was a gymnast for 14 years. Before she got into like competitive CrossFit and jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff. But that base you get from gymnastics is something like I never did, but I wish I had when I was younger. So I don't know. I just for my son, I just want him to have fun. You know, I don't want to force him into anything, and he seems to love it. We take him one day a week right now, and he just goes in there and basically plays and has fun. But at the same time, he's learning skills, he's learning body awareness, and just learning how to be an athlete.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right, well, let's talk about your athletic career as well. Obviously, last time we saw you out, the big win. Man, I know that had to be massive for you. I mean, just to get that win back under your belt. I guess how big was that for you in terms of just getting the confidence back and trusting in everything that you're doing is working?
It felt really good, John. It was 22 months without a win. And I was healthy and active the whole time. I wanted to obviously win, of course. You know, I trained so hard. I dedicate my whole entire life to the sport. And just to go day in, day out and to not get my hand raised during the 3 times that I competed, going on a 3-fight losing streak, that was tough. It was tough to just keep showing up every day. But, you know, I stuck to the course, and I made little micro adjustments, nothing crazy, nothing big, but I kept showing up every day and kept repping out the basics. And I knew eventually it would pay off, but it's just unfortunate in the sport. It's not like we get to go back at it the following weekend. You know, if it was a series of 7, you know, it's not like I'm sure I wouldn't lose 7 out of 7 times to those guys that I lost to. And it felt really good though to get that win back in January over Damon Jackson. And the way and the fashion that I did it, and I got to just show my complete game, my complete skill set, and just complete domination from bell to bell, and then eventually get the walk-off KO too to top it off. So yeah, man, that it was emotional for me, just going through the past, I don't know, 2 years of just feeling that doubt and discouragement, and being able to overcome that at the end of the day. And yeah, it felt really great. And I just want to keep building, if that makes sense.
100%, and that's why I love talking to you, man. Because the things I think about you, number one, I always think about you as a mentally strong guy, and I always think about you as a positive guy, man. And you know, that's just all the time spent around you. But I know that at the end of the day, you go out there and you get a loss. I mean, it's a cliche, but it's true, right? The highest the highs, the lowest the lows. And I was like, it's so I guess refreshing, I guess, that you admit, man, you struggled to get in there every day and to keep trusting the process, as you say, and enjoying the process. So I guess, what did keep you going, man? Was it a passion for the sport? Was it, you know, because this is the job to support the family? Like, what did keep you going to just wake your ass up and go over to the gym every day?
um, so it's kind of a long story. I mean, starting from the Korean Zombie fight, that was my very first fight as a dad, and losing that fight kind of took a toll on me mentally. Um, Not that like I prepared so hard for that fight, and I probably came in that fight probably the best shape of my life at the time. The best shape I've ever been in going into a fight, and I lost that fight, and that put a lot on me just mentally. Like I felt like a failure. I felt like a failure, you know, to my son, even though he has no idea what's going on. Even to this day, he's 2 and a half. He doesn't know what I do. Like he kind of understands now. He knows dad does punch, but he doesn't he doesn't get it. He doesn't understand the sacrifice that I put in every single day. But I put that pressure on myself because being a first time dad, that meant a lot to me, that fight, and I lost that fight, and then probably not too long after that fight, they offered me Josh Emmett, and yeah, that year in December, and I took that fight too, just because I wanted to get something, I wanted to get it back, but I didn't realize at the time, but I was dealing with depression a little bit, and I was just going through the motions, I didn't let it wear on me. I didn't show it. I didn't show it on the outside like my coach Eric. I'm super close with him. He didn't even realize that I was going through that. Because I just show up every day and go through the motions. And again, we go through that fight. I remember walking out. Finally, it's like fighting through the whole pandemic. I got the opportunity to fight in the T-Mobile Arena. It was a sold out arena. And I missed that moment. I felt so numb when I was walking out just because mentally, I don't know. I wasn't myself, and I fought that fight. It was still a good fight, close fight. Lost that fight, and literally again, right after that, I got another fight offer to fight Movsar Evloev, and in my head, it was like, okay, I've never lost 2 in a row in my life, so there's no way I could lose 3 in a row. And I was like, I get it. This guy's undefeated. He's like he's the guy that no one wants to fight. But I believe I have the skill set to beat him. They gave me 17 weeks preparation for that one. And at that time, I was starting to work. I started realizing my depression a little bit. So I started working on my refortifying my mind, and doing hard things outside of whatever I could to build up my mental strength. And 17 weeks, man, that was just, in my opinion, too long to prepare for one guy. I put a lot of there's a lot of I don't know. I definitely experienced some burnout. Just waking up every day, getting ready for one guy. I put so much. I had like that Rocky mindset. I went up to Colorado. I left home. I trained with the Russians for 4 weeks, Khabib and those guys, and then I remember getting back, and I still had like 8 weeks of training that I just pushed myself to the absolute limit, and kind of went into that fight a little burnt out and wasn't myself. And at that point, I was like, all right, something else has to change, because it's not a matter of my work ethic. I show up every day, and I'm not getting the results I want. So what it came down to was actually working more on my personal life than I do at my actual job. It wasn't a matter of me training harder or smarter or whatever. It was just working on my personal life, working on my skills of being present with my family, working on other things that make me happy outside the gym. And I felt like that started bringing a lot more joy into my life. So when I did go to the gym to train, I was a lot happier, and I was able to enjoy the process. And of course, going into the Damon Jackson fight, there's pressure because I've lost 3 in a row, and I obviously I don't want to lose my job, because this is how I support my family, and this is how I provide. But I didn't think about that. I just kind of went in there, and I I just believed in whatever God's plan was for me, that whatever his will was for me, it would happen and I would be okay with it. And I just, my only pressure was to go out there and just, you know, put everything on the line and go for broke, because if I hold back, I would have regrets, but I didn't have any regrets because I put everything on the line, and I didn't put that type of pressure on myself. Like, man, you can't go in, you can't lose one more time, you can't do this. So I don't know, man. It really just came down to my mental side of the spectrum, because I've always kind of been consider myself mentally tough, but and coming from my background with my dad being a Navy SEAL, it's just like I felt like I couldn't be mentally weak, but I did have some mental weaknesses that I just, I had to delve really deep and work on myself, and losing 3 times in a row and going 2 years without a win will really do that to you. So I just kind of built myself back up from scratch, and yeah, here we are.
That's awesome, man. I respect you for sharing all that. And I think there's such valuable lessons in there, not just in life, but for people to really understand about the sport itself, is that, man, so much of it happens outside of the cage, outside of the gym, and how much your personal life, I think, factors into your professional life as well and your success. But now you got another fight lined up. We're almost there. It's UFC 289. It's June 10th. It's pay-per-view main card. It's Nate Landwehr. He's crazy. He's fun. I guess, what do you think about him as an opponent? Because I know what a fan of the sport you are. He's fun to watch, but you got to get in there and you got to fight the guy.
Yeah. I'm as a fan, I definitely enjoy watching him. He is crazy. He is fun. He says some obnoxious stuff, and yeah, man, I'm just excited to go out there and just have another, partner to dance with in there. I know he's a guy that brings it. He's not going to be a guy that shies away from a fight, and he's in there to be exciting. And I, it, I don't really go out there to try to make it exciting. I think my fighting style is naturally just exciting because I have the factor to put guys to sleep with either hand, and it's going to be a fun fight, man. I'm really looking forward to it. He's been on a tear lately. I'm finally, back on the winning side. So this just makes up for a good matchup on the main card of a pay-per-view in a sold-out arena in Vancouver. I'm really excited, and I'm not going to miss my opportunity again of fighting in a sold-out crowd. So I can't wait to just go out there and be in the moment and do my thing, man.
I love it. What's the plan on the road again? You've been fighting a whole lot in Las Vegas, so this is, I guess, the first time for a business trip with the family, with the kid. Are you leaving them home? You taking them with you? What's your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, they're actually going to stay home. I thought about it, and there's just a lot of moving pieces. Like who's going to watch the dogs? Who's going to like Bam's? He's most comfortable at home right now, and just and there's just so many other moving pieces. So my wife and I decided like this will just be the boys trip. Me, Eric, got my coaches, and we're just gonna go out there and do our business. It has been a while though. All my last fights have been in Vegas, which is nice, but I've been wanting to kind of get out and go somewhere else for a little while. Forever, if you fight somewhere else, you complain like that you have to go and travel, and then after 4 fights in Vegas, I just kind of want to get out of here and go somewhere else. So I'm looking forward to it, man. Vancouver, it looks like I've never been there, but it looks beautiful. And the weather app says it's pretty nice, like 70, 78, 80 degrees, beautiful sunny weather, and get to go breathe some fresh air and whoop some ass.
I can't say any better than that. I love it. Now, I'll be honest with you, Dan. I think it's one of the most beautiful cities on earth, man. Out of all the places I've traveled, it's really one of the most gorgeous places I've ever been. So hopefully
Yeah.
you get to soak in a little bit of the scenery. They got some great sushi out there, man. Some great fresh seafood. I know you'll be cutting weight, but maybe those are healthy ingredients. Maybe you can soak in a little bit of it.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a little here and there. Just I'm pretty diligent with my diet right now, so I got to stay the course. But I'll definitely Yeah, we'll get there. We'll see what the weight is, and then yeah, we'll dabble a little bit in some Vancouver food, but especially after the fight. After the fight, I think I got about a half day there, so I'll try to get get as much as I can in. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, man. Just to get out of the desert and go breathe some fresh, fresh trees and breathe some fresh air will be nice.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, Dan, I know you're busy, man. I know it's almost fight time, so it won't take too much of your time. I appreciate it as always. Great to see you back in the win column. Looks like on paper this is going to be fireworks, man. Like you said, packed arena, Vancouver, pay-per-view main card. Definitely looking forward to it. Best of luck, my man.
Yeah, thank you so much, John. It was good talking to you. Are you going up there?
I am going to be there. I'm going to leave. I'll be there on Tuesday night, so I'll cross your path on fight week.
Okay. All right, on. Yeah, I'm sure I'll see you up there, and yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be a fun one, action packed for sure. And yeah, I'll see you up there.